guys, welcome back to the very first episode of BigFinish-Scussion, Part 2, where we're covering the legacy of time with myself, the LateCrow, and the fantabulous ThatRandomGuy. So picking up where we left off, we're going to talk about the next story in this box set, Relative Time. So ThatRandomGuy, take us away.
Right, so it starts off with the Doctor heading to Europe for some reason. It must be something to do with another Big Finish story.
He's aiming for Amsterdam.
Yeah, he's aiming for Amsterdam. So I don't know. There must be another Big Finish story that I'm not familiar with
I'm
yet.
pretty sure that, according to TARDIS Wiki, he's heading there for the events of for Arc of Infinity. According to TARDIS Wiki.
Oh my goodness! But then where's Nissa?
That's a good question.
Yeah, if he's heading there for Arc of Infinity, where in the world is Nissa? Where was it? Arc of Infinity.
Although, to be fair, how many episodes of Five's run was just like, hey, where's Nissa? Sleeping in the somewhere.
Dude, seriously, what was up with that? It was so bad. Like when Edric was alive, Nissa was just in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Kinder? I put her in temporal grace. What does it mean, Doctor? Shut up. You're just saying stuff to get her out of the story. Anyways, so he's aiming for Amsterdam, and then he sees a vessel calling out for help. There's an explosion in the time vortex. The vessel is, hey, oh, is that a TARDIS? Oh, if it's a TARDIS, then who are you? And the Doctor's like, well, hey, maybe I should jump onto your ship there. And it turns out that the voice we're hearing is that of Georgia Tennant, who you might know better as Jenny, the Doctor's daughter. So the Doctor appears on the TARDIS. The TARDIS appears on this time-space vessel that Jenny's on. The Doctor lands and is like, hey, who are you? She's like, hi, Dad. And he's like, what? Now, the thing that's real meta about this is IRL, Peter Davison is actually the actress's father. So it's amazing. And Big Finish really they knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm so happy they did this. And we find out that she's not actually in charge of this ship. In fact, she broke onto the bridge so that she could save them. The crew didn't believe that she was trying to save them. They arrest her and put her in the cells. And then the captain of the ship is like, oh, whoa, she actually was trying to save us. That's interesting. Then the Nine, who, if you've followed our Doctor Who stuff over on Whoscussion, you'll know that he is an earlier incarnation of Mark Bonner's The 11, where he is a Time Lord with regenerative dissonance, which is a Time Lord genetic anomaly, where when you regenerate, instead of your personality taking over, all your personalities survive. Which is, I'm surprised this was never something that came up before.
It's such a brilliant concept.
Yeah, and it makes sense for me for there to be a genetic illness where your other personality survive. To be fair, though, you could argue that that's probably what made him evil. But I mean, like, one wasn't a good person,
No.
And so, like, I don't know. I just think he was a good person to begin with, and now that he's got
a great person, so.
Oh yeah, the eight is a good person. I love the 8. I was sad what happens with the 8. I liked the 8, especially when you try to save 8. Like it's all topsy turvy, guys. Sorry, we're throwing numbers out there. It's just what happens, right? It's Doctor Who. You're gonna have to keep up. TARDIS Wiki is a great way to do that. Plugging TARDIS Wiki here again, as we always do. The 9 is trying to steal all the artifacts that are on the ship. A female passenger comes across the 9. He's like, aren't you that person from the band? She's like, yeah, I'm from the band. And then the 9 shoots her. She gets back up, and the 9's like, what? Shoots her again. She gets back up. She's like, oh yeah, my people can only die from old age. There's literally no other ways for me to die. He's like, what? And it turns out she's from some a race called, it's not on TARDIS Wiki, yeah?
No, it's not.
Oh, blast. She's from an alien race that is apparently extinct. And so the 9's like, you're the one of a kind. I'm stealing you now. And so they decide to team up and become friends, allies-ish. Five and Jenny end up trying to save everybody on the ship. Five finds Nine and his new companion Thana. Five goes, Thana? And Thana's like, who are you? And Five's like, oh, wrong part in your timeline. And so the Nine's like, you know Thana? Wait, what does that mean? The Nine sniffs the air and is like, hang on, is that your kid? And Five's like, what? He's like, yeah, that's your kid. He's like, oh my goodness. And he goes, who was the mother or father? And I like that. That was pretty cool for Big Finish to do that, because that's actually a thing that could happen with Time Lords.
Yep.
So I was like, thank you, Big Finish, for not making a big deal out of the whole like gender swap thing, like some of the idiots online have, because they are idiots.
Pretty sure Series 11 had that issue as well.
Yeah, don't make it a big problem. Just like, oh, it's so silly. So it was pretty cool that happened. The Fifth Doctor's like, man, I don't really I shouldn't have a kid. I already went through the whole family thing before. They end up going into their separate TARDISes and trying to save the ship. Because of the explosion in the time vortex, there have become time storms in different time zones.
Yay.
Gee, I wonder where we heard that before. Five has one of my favorite moments where he lets Jenny drive the TARDIS, and the dialogue is so genuine here. It is a father watching his daughter learn to drive for the first time.
That's so good.
I love it. Like, ease up on that. Ease up. I am doing it easy. All right, you want to do that slow, okay? All right. No. You shouldn't be hitting the thalamic buffer. Dad, I know what I'm doing. It is so good. I love that scene so much. I did that scene, I think, about 4 times my first time listening to the story. I was like, that's great. Just the dialogue's so genuine. You can tell IRL they're familial. But it's just having that in the story as well. Fantastic. But as with all Big Finish having classic meet new who, some time space thing happens where the Doctor, because the ship was caught in an explosion, it created this time anomaly. That means that Five won't remember Jenny. And they go their own separate ways. But Jenny remembers meeting Five, which is pretty cool. And oh no, does she?
I'm pretty sure would she?
She does, right? Yeah, Five's the one who forgets. And then they go their own separate ways. Nine's got a companion. Thanks to Five, we know that Nine will have that companion for a while. It was just really great. Like Five, like Thana, and Thana's like, I literally have never met you before. And it was like, oh, wrong point in the timeline. Sorry, guys. So it was my bad. And that is Relative Dimensions.
Absolutely. Yep. So it was a good time, and this isn't the first time that Big Finish have gone, hey, we've got actors that are family. Let's chuck them in a story together. Let's do it. The first time that Georgia Tennant has acted opposite or against Peter Davison either, if you listen to Red Dawn, one of their earlier stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I love it when they do that. Just a little in real life, neat little thing.
Red Dawn was sad. Were you on Whoscussion for that episode?
Yes, I was there for that one.
Man, that was so sad.
I bawled my eyes out of that ending.
Yeah, I know way. Big Finish. I don't want to cry every time I listen to you, thank you.
Well, I didn't cry at the end of the story, so that's nice.
Yeah, thanks, Big Finish. The story was nice. I really liked Relative Dimensions.
I liked that the Vortisaurs popped up.
Yeah.
Just just why not? Just like, but Vortisaurs, what? No. That was a good time.
Big Finish referencing their own canon again.
Oh yeah, just reference as much as is humanly possible.
Are the Vortisaurs related to the Reapers?
I honestly don't know if anyone's remembered the Reapers exist. So
I know New Who definitely hasn't.
TARDIS Wiki, can you answer this question?
Yeah, are the Reapers related to the Vortisaurs? TARDIS Wiki, who cares?
That's literally, I type in the Reapers and first option, nothing to do with the Reapers, so TARDIS Wiki doesn't care either.
Yeah, I love when TARDIS Wiki doesn't care. That's my favorite.
Yep, and it's a good time. It's just a nice sort of, as you say, it's just a father and daughter story, really.
Yeah, it really is. It's a father and daughter story. It's fantastic.
Which is, I think, again, I know how you said earlier that kind of in the middle of a box set, the audience kind of wants a nice sort of slower, less, well, not less action, but less plot detrimental story. So just get
Yeah,
rid of
and
lies.
this was definitely was less action as well.
I mean, just get rid of lies and rules. Don't need it all. This was your middle of the box set feel good story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was kind of set. Like, five's not allowed to remember, and that would have been the universe fixing it as well.
Mm.
The universe is like, you literally are not allowed to remember this. So time space anomaly, because we know in the Whoniverse the universe, well, time space because of the vortex is sentient.
Yep.
So this totally works. It's not some Deus Ex Machina. It's something they've set up in the narrative that the time vortex is sentient.
Yes, but it's great because it means Big Finish can kind of play with the characters nicely and get stories like this. Yes. Did you have any more you want to add on this story, Random Guy?
Yeah, just sort of echoing what you're saying is that this is the middle of the box set story. I feel like Lies and Ruins could have happened after this, or just not at all. It's just, I think it's strong. I love the father-daughter dynamic. I like to not. I don't know what it is. I think out of all of the 11 past lives we've come across in a physical manifestation, 9's been my favorite of the villain side.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved 8. 8 was so nice.
He was.
It was 8 was atoning, which I thought was really, really quite cool. And the way that his multiple personalities were actually kind of in control when he was the 8. Like, sorry, under control, I should say. The 8 had way more control over them than the other ones do, and maybe it's because 8 was the good one. Maybe,
possibly, yeah.
Because I know that there's a character, the 12, that we've not come across yet.
Right. Okay.
That's in control. So yeah, we'll see where that leads us. But yeah, it's a good story. It's definitely middle of the box set material where you need this sort of slower pace, but it's not boring. It's thoroughly interesting the whole way through, and the dialogue's so tight. I don't feel like anyone's dialogue's wasted. I loved that rich guy. Oh, we getting to the lifeboats. What's happening? What the heck was that rich guy's name?
Mr. Gregorian, was it?
Mr. Gregorian. He was so annoying. But like, he's I don't think he was a malicious person. He's just an annoying person.
Yeah.
And I loved that character. He felt to me sort of like in a classic Who, there'd be the nincompoop, as the Third Doctor would put it.
Yep.
Sort of like the guy's there to be sort of adult that thinks he's not adult. Yep. That's who Mr. Gregorian was for me. Absolutely. I loved that character. And like, he's the one that has dialogue that sort of doesn't make the plot go anywhere. Sort of, I suppose in a way, sort of contradicts what I was saying with the dialogue's tight. But even though it doesn't go anywhere, the way he speaks is real people I've met in real life. As somebody who worked in retail, I've met this customer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, Mr. Gregorian is a customer I've met, and I loved that. It's so good. And the actor who played him in the BTS was just like, oh, I just pictured some nasty customer when I used to work in a shop, and I was like, oh yeah, he totally is. He gets it. It's so fantastic. Yes, but that's all I've got left to say. What about yourself, LateCrow?
Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say except go and listen to it. Just go and pick up this box set and start at the Split Infinitive. That's all I'm saying. Right. All right. So I suppose we'll move on to our next story in this box set, the Avenues
of Possibility.
Yeah. So this, carrying on, we've got the 6th Doctor this time. And he's traveling with Charlie.
Yeah, okay, that confused me. I need to know. I don't understand. I'm confused.
Okay.
Well, why is 6 traveling with Charlie? Have you caught up on the monthly stuff?
I have not, but I think something happens in the monthly range that means that 6 is traveling with Charlie for a bit. I'm
confused. I don't get it. I just had to let that slide. I'm sorry for jumping in like that, LateCrow.
No, that's fair. I mean, I think I've been aware of the fact that they're companions, but never got my head around why or how that happened.
Yeah. I'm
Oh
so
well.
confused about the how.
Oh well. I'm sure Big Finish have explained somewhere. We just have to get there. There's so much material. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so we open up to the story, just like more Big Finish going. What rangers have we got? Dump. So we got Di Patricia Menzies, and she's been in a few other six stories. So I mean, I haven't listened to any of those other six stories, but she's there, and so
Yeah.
she's a
Yeah, I just want to apologize right now, Big Finish. You have a jillion stories, and I'm only now just catching up.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm even further behind than you, and I'm still wowzers. But yeah, so Patricia, she's a detective in the modern, well, 2009 actually, specifically, it says it. Um, and so she's got 18th century people cropping up on her patch, which is not normal. It's like, oh dear, what's going on here? And I think she's pretty kind of just like, okay, when's the doctor going to turn up, sort of deal. So it's things weird on time wise, yep. And true to form, the doctor turns up. And I like how pretty sure there's she's made a call out for him, and so six. Is it the story? Yeah, and six lands.
Well, she's called out for the doctor.
Yeah, and so when Six and Charlie lands, they're swooped in by some military types almost. Like, right, you need to when you come with us. And Six is just, what have I done this time? And gets
It's
caught
the
up.
coat, Six. It's the coat.
It's what's that meme? Just like anime villains. It's just like big, the most colorful person in the room, and the anime protagonist like, who's the villain? It could be anyone. Loud coat over there. That's your guy.
It's your guy.
So just like, what's going wrong? Loud coat six over there. He probably knows. He's probably
He's
responsible.
probably the villain. Or my sixth in you.
Oh dear. But yeah, time is definitely playing a lot of havoc now, as set up by the previous stories. And so we have, and I love this. We got the Fielding brothers. Have which one is it that's in this timeline? I think is it Henry that they jump in with. One of the Fielding brothers is he's in
John is the one in the other timeline, I believe.
right.
Hang on, it was the blind brother, John Fielding. No, I think it is Henry. No, yeah, I think it is. I think John's the.
But one of the brothers is.
Uh,
Oh no, you found it.
yeah, no, yeah. John's the one in the alternate timeline. He's the
Right.
blind one.
Okay. So we'll get to John, but Henry's there, and we have a bit of a trying to catch up with him. Just say, okay, we're in a cell. What's going on? He's like, well, I was in 1751, and now I'm here. What gives essentially? And it's like, all right, so we got more time issues going on. We should probably figure this out. Have a bit of a catch up with Di Menzies. That's all going well. And we have this other couple of other soldiery peoples. And we got this Stables character. And I love that she's called Stables when I would say her mental state is the exact opposite.
Yeah, it is unstable.
Yeah, exactly. Big Finish, you. Because she is possessed quite clearly by the sirens, who seem definitely masterminding all this time muddly uppy stuff. And so the doctor's trying to fix it, and unfortunately gets himself caught into one of the time holes and finds himself in an alternate 1951 where Zeppelins are. And I love how Six is like, there's always Zeppelins.
Yeah, and they got the alternate universes. There's
Yeah.
always Zeppelins. The series Fringe actually referenced that when they went to the alternate universe, they had Zeppelins there, and it's actually a reference to Doctor Who.
Yes, but yeah, so it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Not good. I'll go with that. Where it's kind of like very just kind of militarian to kind of try and keep the peace by force sort of deals going on here. And the doctor's like,
Yeah, and
whoa.
the British Empire have taken over Earth.
Yeah, the doctor's just like, whoa, this is not 1951. What's going on? And I love how the people there are just like, what do you mean it's not 1951? This is totally 1951. We're here now. What are you talking about? And it's just like, oh, and they kind of work out, okay, there's multiple timelines going on, and time is just so broken at this point. And Doctor tries to fix it, as the Doctor does. But I must admit, I think you should just listen to the story because I'm not overly au fait with how the plot line ended up. You just kind of, it does rely heavily on previous storylines on how it gets resolved, which is not a bad thing at all, which is kind of what you want to do in a box set. But yeah, it just, I'm just going to say to go and listen to it unless that random guy wants to pick up some stuff that I'm struggling to remember.
Basically, it's the whole thing gets fixed because Charlie outlines to the Doctor that she's a massive paradox, which
That's
she
right.
is. And I was like, oh my goodness, yes, she is. Come somebody explain how she's the Sixth Doctor's companion, please.
Which they
But
don't
nobody
do.
did. And then the Doctor's Six is like, what? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, I'm actually from your future, and like I died and stuff. And Six is like, wait, what? Well, I don't understand what's going on. And Charlie's like, cuz not even I understand what's going on. And then she walks into the anomaly, and then the sirens are like, whoa, she is way too big of a paradox for us to deal with right now. And they disperse, time goes back to normal, and Wadmore, who was who was the second in command for Stables, decides to stay in the original timeline, and he's going to live out his days in the original timeline.
There we go.
DC, DI Patricia Menzies is going to give him an alias because she's had to rehome time space anomalies before.
Because when you work with the Doctor, space-time anomalies they're just by the book, I guess. You're just like,
Yeah,
okay,
there's
and
just the things that
let's,
have to happen.
let's just have a separate account for time-space anomaly expenses. I'm sure you
Yeah,
need to do that.
absolutely.
The Whoniverse has to have that somewhere in some government arm.
And then Charlie's like, hey, Doctor, do you remember what I said? And Six is like, what did you say? And she's like, cool, awesome.
mm.
They're going to have a hard time explaining why 8 doesn't remember me. What was that last part? Nothing.
Because 8 always forgets.
Yeah, and then that random guy turns up and is like, Korewa Nani? Because what?
Yeah, that's BigFinish-Scussion canon. That random guy
Yeah,
just pops
absolutely.
in.
I just popped in. Hold on a second. We can't just brush over this because what?
Now I want to go through all Whoscussion moments where you've actually said that exact phrase. I'm sure there's been a few. Hold on, we can't just brush over this. We need to address this.
Yeah, we need to address what's going on here. Wait, what?
Oh dear. But yes. So it's kind of definitely getting the ball rolling for the next story. Because I think for the previous kind of time issues stories and kind of as we covered in part 1, they kind of for the most part seem to get resolved. We just need to find out who's responsible. But now it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, these are cataclysmic events now. We need to get our A game on this thing, which is good. Definitely kind of good penultimate setup. I love it when they do alternate timelines right.
Yeah.
Which is,
yes.
get with it. But I love the fact they just pulled a character from other Six adventures. It's like, yeah, let's use this character. And I love the whole thing with the Fielding brothers. Just like, yeah, we've totally met you before, but you're an old man back then.
Yeah.
Because they totally have met once.
They were there. It was One and Dodo.
That's right. One and Dodo had interaction with them. But
nice young lady by the name of Chaplet. And I was just like, yes. Because Jacqueline Lane never wants to do any EU. Jacqueline Lane, please.
Now, here's a word to New Who. If you want to have, not in any way malicious, but kind of the whole kind of the time sexism, if you have a person from the 18th century, fair play to you. That's fine. If 18th century male human, that's fine. It's understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to have somebody from a time period where it was the norm, and then you could reprimand them on their behavior. It was DI Patricia Menzies, a police officer, but you're a woman. Yeah, and
yeah.
He's
So
like, oh,
yeah, it was played well. I did enjoy it. Just I like the voice of the sirens. I like the fact that to this point, just every sirens actor is just whoever's playing the main character and does such a good job.
yeah. With
So
the sirens of time. Wait, does that mean Rhea was a vessel?
hmm, I don't know.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
I,
Who cares? Lysenro's not canon.
well, and I mean the companion just kind of popped up and died in that one story, so we can
Yeah.
kind of let it
Yeah.
by the
She got
by.
Sarah Kingdomed. Um,
But that random guy, do you want to say anything about the avenues of possibility?
I thought it was kind of cool to have a previous Sixth Doctor uh, character appear. I'm not familiar with Patricia. Again, I'm getting through the monthly range at the moment, and having this podcast is probably going to help me do that, to be honest.
Likewise.
So that's good for me. I really like the monthly range. I like that because she was a police officer and they're dealing with time travel, they took her back to the beginning of the police force because the Fielding brothers actually invented the policeman. What were they called back then?
Oh,
What were they called? The Nightmen or something? The something. I can't remember what they were
the
called,
something.
but they were the original
The Bow
police.
Street Runners.
The Bow Street Runners. That's what it was. And so they became part of the law, which is smart because like law enforcement, you kind of need a unit to outline that isn't the military. And yeah, the police is a great idea. So well done, Fielding brothers, for coming up
Absolutely.
with that. That's smart.
Yes.
Yeah, this was another one of those I'm in the middle stories. Not a bad thing. I really need to learn more about Charlie.
Yeah.
Genuinely need to learn more about Charlie because what? When she was in it, when I heard India Fisher's voice, I was like, hang on a second, that's not India Fisher. And then I was like, India Fisher, TARDIS Wiki, clicked on it. It's like, I see. That is India Fisher. I see.
All right. I see, but I
and as
don't
people
see.
know, Charlie is my favorite companion in the EU. I love her to pieces. Seconded by, I would say, Izzy Sinclair. And yeah, it was really cool to hear her. You know, the 20th anniversary, I was so happy they brought her back because I love Charlie to bits.
Mm.
The universe making sure Six doesn't remember works, but also when they got to make it so that Six doesn't remember permanently on a permanent basis when it comes to Charlie. Who knows?
We shall see.
But yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad story. It's definitely the middle of a box set sort of thing.
Mm. Also,
But it's penultimate, and we're
yeah,
coming into our final story.
if I had one nitpick, I think it'd probably be. And this is one of the things that I think the monthly range has a kind of not superior, but a better kind of hand with. That when you
Mhm.
got stories with a lot happening in it, it's kind of paced out, so it's kind of easy to digest the whole thing. I think for me,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
these ones are only
I
1 hour
agree.
long.
Yeah, with the monthlies, you've got classic Who length,
Mm. So I think perhaps
which
this story might have been. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means, but I think it might have been better in a monthly range format, personally.
I agree. I agree. It needed to be stretched a bit. I felt too compact.
Yeah, but uh, but no, it was still a good time, and we shall now move on to what the whole box has been building up to:
Yeah,
collision
the
course.
actual 20th anniversary.
Yes. All right. So as you, if you're fans of Big Finish, you probably know. If you are just tuning into Big Finish, you might not know. But they have a range called Gallifrey, and it's possibly one of the best ranges that, in my
Oh
opinion,
yeah, it's amazing. Gallifrey's amazing.
it is. It
I
absolutely.
binged the whole series. It's amazing.
I'm pretty sure we both binged it low key
Yeah, we both
together.
binged it at the same time.
Just the backwards and forwards are amazing, as we are just. But anyway, just go listen to Gallifrey, because the opening of this sounds like an episode of Gallifrey. Because we jump in, we got Romana and Lila, and so
Lila,
Lila. Um,
Lila, Tom Baker, Lila.
yes, which is funny because it's also a full story. Um, but So Leela and Romana are just kind of being a bit melancholy because at this point the time war's going on and it's not good. And so Romana's being a bit reminiscent, and Leela comes to check on her. And then coming back to this whole idea set up by the split infinitive, they start remembering memories at the same time, but
Yeah.
from different times.
Yeah, exactly.
So
The split infinitive totally set the story up.
it is. So basically, at separate times, but the same place, both Leela and Romana travelled to with the fourth Doctor to this place called Henlin,
Yeah.
and when they both went there, they are drastically different places. So Leela gets there and it's like a jungly place, and Romana gets there and it's sort of like a desolate wasteland essentially. And so they start. So they've been kind of come to check things out, and they don't quite know. Well, the Doctor doesn't quite know where they are yet. They're like, oh, have a poke about. And I love this. I think one of my favourite moments is because I think Ford's a very headstrong Doctor, which is great because Leela's a very headstrong character.
Yeah.
Just like, yes, I know the way. Just like, but Doctor, I'm better at jungle stuff. No, no, this way, and just hear him trip over. It's like, oh, maybe you should lead then. That's yes, I'm just checking for soil samples. It was good times. But so they find in both of them respective times they've come to realize that Henlin is the was an old well, no, it's not Gallifreyan, but it's an old place used by Gallifrey for the first ever test flight of a TARDIS. Oh, big shoes.
Yeah. So it's like a big sort of
Yeah.
like, I'd say it's almost like a religious relic in a way.
Indeed, and I like how Leela. I think it's good, but because obviously it's a companion trope where kind of the Doctor has to explain things for the companion and ergo for us, and having Leela kind of just not quite get the whole lingo of Gallifrey means it forces the Doctor to put it in terms that we understand it, which is quite helpful.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think that's why Leela was a great companion. Like, I enjoyed Leela's run,
Mm,
and she was a great companion not only because she had bloody John Leeson, but she
affirmative.
she affirmative. I'm a good boy. She also was the one who could ask questions because of her character's
Mm.
upbringing.
And it made sense. It wasn't
Mm.
annoying or anyway. Just like, of course you'd ask that question. But so it's a massive facility. It's just like, well, I thought TARDIS is supposed to, be a small, compact thing and big on the inside. So they haven't invented transcendental dimension engineering yet. So that's why. So, I see. And as we've been going, we've been getting. They come across some ghosts. Where have we seen ghosts before? And
Mm.
so they seem to be a bit. Or they come across very malevolent in the first instance, so they're running away, and they kind of get to the point where say, oh, they're asking for help. So what we realize is very quickly is that these ghosts are intertwined beings between the Sirens of Time and the Gallifreyans who use this facility when things got awry, and so they're basically pleading with the Doctor, stop this test flight. We're pleading with you before the Sirens busted all to pieces. Just like, that's really not good. And I love the back and forth between basically the same conversation, same thing happening, but between Leela and the Doctor and then Roman and the Doctor.
Yeah.
Just like back
Yeah.
to the split infinitive setting up this whole mechanism. Basically, almost the same thing's happening, but to different characters with a different kind of dialogue. It's a good time.
Yeah. It's a great payoff for the whole box set.
It is. And yeah, so basically, we know we're on Henlin. We know this is the first TARDIS test flight. It's about to happen, but we also know something goes wrong with it, and that's kind of what's going wrong. And I think it's implied. I don't know if it's ever fully. Oh no, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say, would that have perhaps have been in an alternate timeline, the discarded dying TARDIS? Would that have potentially been this? But no, that probably wouldn't have worked. Maybe that was the
Oh my
intention.
goodness.
Maybe that was the intention, but
Maybe, yeah. And then that ties into Lies and Ruin.
I think that might. but I think could have had some clarity on that. I think if that was their intention, but I think this kind of brings us to about the halfway point of the story. So I'll let that random guy take over because I know he has some juicy stuff to say about the latter half.
Yeah. So Leela and Romana are from the present timeline that are having these flashbacks to their adventures with Four, realize that they're having memories there of an adventure they never actually had. And so which is great because it brings back the split infinitive as well. So they're like, man, we need to figure out what the heck's going on. So Romana and Leela go to Henlin to the original events of the first TARDIS taking off, which they shouldn't be able to do, but because Time's not having a fun time, they're able to get there and do it. The pilots all start dying, and the Sirens of Time are like, we're going to make sure Gallifrey never becomes Time Lords. So they all die out. The one that gets possessed by the Sirens, she basically takes control of her own self and kills everybody so that the Sirens don't take over. But at the same token, Time Lords can't become, the Gallifreyans can't become Time Lords.
If I just interject an amazing little payoff to a character.
Yeah.
One of these test pilots' name is Punchin.
Yes, that is their name.
It's so good.
There, so that maybe they are the same Punchin. Who knows? So they the doctor rather, Leela and Romana are like, man, we need to fix Time. What are we gonna do? And then the Doctor's TARDIS appears. And Bernice walks out, and out comes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is clearly earlier in 8's timeline. I would say probably post the TV movie. Because he's like, hi, everybody. I'm having so much fun. Hi. And then he's like, hi, Leela. Oh, hello, Romana. Oh, everybody. Oh, this is nice. And so 8's so happy. He's having such a good time. He's beaming. I can't remember if he hugs somebody, and they're like, what are you doing?
Who does he hug? I can't remember, but he does dish out hugs.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, cool, there's a fan hugging. The other Doctors are like, really? Oh, okay. And Bernice is like, oh, all right, I brought them like you asked. And Romana's like, who asked? You did. You told me to go get them. Oh, I hate this time travel stuff. You probably haven't asked me yet, but you will. And then Romana and Leela are like, what in the hell is happening? So they're like, oh, everybody died. And Six is like, a moment of silence. And they're all like, And so they all walk over to the TARDIS and they start controlling it. And just everybody starts bouncing off each other. The dynamic is fantastic. And Four's just like, ha, I'm the Fourth Doctor. And Bernice is like, I hate that there's so many of them here right now. This is so annoying. And they're like, oh, there's going to be temporal backlash throughout the time vortex. We need some other Time Lords to go fix it. And then another TARDIS turns up, and it's the 10th Doctor. That's right. When I heard, it's funny, right? Because Whoscussion fans will know that I'm not the biggest fan of 10. But when I heard David Tennant start speaking, I lost it because I've wanted New Who to have the classic Doctors and New Who merged together and not be shit like Twice Upon a Time.
Sorry.
So Twice Upon a Shit. Shit Upon a Time.
That's the actual canon title now.
Yeah, Shit Upon a Time. That's the real title. And then 1 and 2 are with 10, and 1 just gives everybody crap, and I love it. And then 1 tells off 10 for saying made up science words. That's my favorite. 10's like, oh, there's probably a time space anomaly. This is, I can't remember what he said. It was some made up New Who nonsense. And 1's just like, that's not real science. Stop saying that right now. And 10's are like, oh, you teenager. And 1's like, what did you just call me? So that was amazing. Just like the acting, the acting. I was so impressed with everything. Everybody bounces off each other. It was so great having 10 with 1 because like I've always remember in Whoscussion, I would always say that 1 would tell 10 off.
Yep.
I always used to say that. And when one was with 10, he told 10 off immediately. And I was like, yes, Big Finish, you get it, because that's what would happen. He would tell 10 off.
I think my favourite is the jibe that 6 does to 5 about navigation.
Yeah. It took you a year to get to the largest airport in Europe. You know what? 6, shut up. Like, that was amazing when 6 came at him like that. Oh, that was so funny. It's one of my favorite moments. It's just like, well, when everybody bounces off each other, it's so good. And when everybody makes fun of like 6's coat, 4's like, what is up with your coat, bro? 3's like, yeah, I'm gonna ask the same thing. He's like, there's nothing wrong with my coat.
And then 7's just like, I can't hear you over the volume of your coat.
The volume of your coat. 6 is just like, screw you guys, I'm going home. It was so good, like just having the doctors bounce off each other like that. It was so good, and this is what I wanted from the 50th.
Mm.
This is what I wanted from Day of the Doctor, more
Yeah.
like Day of the Stephen Moffat. It's just like this was a payoff for being a Doctor Who fan, not just of Big Finish, but of Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
I was just like, man, this is why. Even my wife said, and she hasn't even listened to them as Big Finish. She's just like, they should be in charge of the TV show.
And
I know, baby.
Big
I
Finish,
know.
It's Big Finish's 20th anniversary, but they went the extra mile. Like, let's just get all of Who going on here. Why? They didn't have to do that, but they did.
Yeah. And so basically the doctors saved the day. I was so happy hearing 10 talking to 1, because that's been a fan dream of mine for ages. It's just 1 telling off 10. It was a bit sad they didn't have anybody who could play 9.
Yeah.
It was cool to at least have 1 New Who Doctor appear. That was nice. And just like hearing David Tennant though. When I heard David Tennant, I actually was so giddy, which is so like, I suppose in a way hypocritical, because he's like my least favorite Doctor. Not a bad actor, before I get blown up in the comments. That is not what I'm saying.
David Tennant's a great actor.
He's a fantastic actor. I'm just saying that his incarnation's my least favorite.
Yeah.
And it was just great hearing him, making my heart go all giddy. And then just David Bradley, like, what's going on here? I thought they would probably get John Gulnor if they'd bring back the first Doctor for this. I understand why they didn't, because David Bradley is playing 1 in a box set series at the moment. But John does sound like Hartnell. So yes, I was a bit confused. John Gulnor sounds exactly like William Hartnell. But at the same token, it was so cool hearing David Bradley and having him tell off 10. It's like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? Stop saying this made up words. And 10's like, oh. And then 10 tries to jibe at him by going, you teenager. And 1's like, what did you say, bro? Oh, nothing, 1. I'm so sorry, please. I'm so sorry, 1. 1's like, that's what I thought you said. And so yeah, so this is this was great. What are your thoughts on the story as a whole?
Oh, fantastic! But when they were all arriving, just all the doctors, I just couldn't wipe the grin off my face. It was just that's all I wanted from an anniversary box set. It's all the doctors in one room bouncing off each other. That's everything I need. And the fact that obviously the cover art, we knew that we had 3 through to 8. But just when 1, 2, and 10 showed up, it's like, what?
Yeah, I was blown away by that. Because like, what a gift! What a gift, man! Like that was a gift to us as fans.
It was just that Big Finish gone the extra mile for the fans, because they know. And it's just, I mean, I can't really articulate how much I love the story. I love that it started off as felt like a very Gallifrey story at the start.
Yeah, it felt like an episode of Gallifrey.
Which was nice, because Gallifrey's amazing. Go listen to it. But yeah, it was just everything we need from a anniversary box set and more. So go and listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely, and more.
Do you have
I definitely. Yeah, I agree with what the LateCrow said. Is that it feels like an episode of Gallifrey. You know, it's a really strong story as well. Having 4 be the Doctor that instigates the events. It's interesting because 4, you were saying he's quite headstrong, but he's also the first playful. Well, I mean, 2 was definitely playful, but 4 was sort of like the first properly eccentric one. I'd say.
Yeah, for sure.
and then having him have to deal with like a serious thing,
Mm.
interesting. And he didn't. He and 4 wasn't laughing the situation off as well.
Nice.
He was like, "We're in a bad way, kiddo." And Leela and Romano are just like, "Wait, that didn't happen."
Like,
What?
this is for who are we traveling with right now?
Yeah, what's going on here? So them fixing it all up, having all the doctors 1 through 10. I mean, again, it was kind of a bit of a blow that 9 wasn't available. Even if there's an impressionist, but I don't know if there is actually an impressionist for 9. I mean, Nick Briggs's 9 is,
Yeah.
well, I mean, man, no, it's for a Chronicles run. Okay, Chronicles isn't meant to be the actual actor, but
Yeah, but unfortunately, after the way
it's
BBC treated Chris, I don't think he's too keen on.
yeah, exactly. I don't blame him for not coming back, to be honest. But in the same token, I mean, this story is fantastic even without him. Fantastic, and I thoroughly recommend it. The story alone has been recommended this box set, but
Mm.
the only downside is that you kind of have to get through Lies and Ruins.
Just, I mean, no offense to the writers or any of the production crew or anything, or any of the actors, but just jump to Split Infinitive and go from there.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I think you should actually just start from Split Infinitive,
Given
which I
that,
mean isn't fair because I mean all those actors deserve representation. You know, they all bring
no,
their A
absolutely,
game to the role,
but yeah, it's
but
just,
it's just not a strong story, and I feel bad because like I love the writer. Oh, it was James Goss, I believe, wrote the
yes, he wrote.
Lies and Ruins, and he's a great writer. So I don't know. Maybe it might have been a bit of an off day. Who knows? But the collision course is definitely a great payoff for it, and just again, all the doctors turning up, and they're flying the first TARDIS. I mean, it's funny because I hate when the doctor's involved in like a really important, universe event. But this
Yeah,
is his like for like humanity. I don't think the doctor should be involved in like the JFK assassination and stuff like that. I think it's dumb
yeah.
because like humanity should be in charge of its own destiny, in my
Mm,
opinion. But I love the fact that this was a Gallifreyan one.
mm,
You know, he's doing the first flight, and the historical records will just say that the real pilots are the ones who drove it, and they just died as a result of the TARDIS taking off.
mm.
Where was
It's-
Rassilon?
yeah,
Where
where
was
was he
Rassilon in
through
his
all
gold
this?
undies?
Yeah, where was he when this was going down?
Yeah. No, he wouldn't have been there. There's no way he would have endangered his own life.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
It's
because
like, no.
like as cool as he was when we originally met him, thanks to the EU and Russell T Davies, he's a dick.
Yeah,
I got the EU did it, and Russell was like, "I like that. He's going to be the bad guy in the Time War."
yeah. Oh, and yeah, when Gallifrey bring him back.
Yeah. Oh man, when they literally used the Matrix to copy paste over somebody,
That was
that was the
brutal.
most. That was so ruthless. The guy was like, "I love Rassilon," and they're like, "Well, we're gonna grab Rassilon's file in the Matrix, and then we're gonna go copy and paste it over you."
And he's just like, sorry, what? Come again?
Yeah. Yeah, hey, can you push yes on this? What does that yes say? Yes to overwrite this file. Oh, okay. Ah!
I remember you messaging me after that, just like the regeneration noise in that scene is just horrific.
Yeah, it's horrific because it's somebody being copy pasted over by their by their ancestor, which means like that guy is probably the if not, oh, it'd be a new regeneration cycle, I'd say, but it's possible that he could be the first ever Rassilon the way he looked. Might have even
Mm,
been. We might even get Don Warrington back as Rassilon, which I'd be hype about because he was
mm.
fantastic as Rassilon.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the legacy of time. Just,
It is indeed.
yeah, that Big Fish know how to do anniversaries. It's just they actually honored the entirety of their range. So
Yeah, and they also it wasn't just a hats off to their entire range. It was also a
no,
hats off to the whole franchise.
yeah, absolutely, that made narrative sense to tie in the characters they did, for the most part. But yeah, so go and pick it up. And thank you for tuning into this first episode of BigFinish-Scussion. Tune in next month. I'm not too sure what we're covering yet, but keep an eye out on the Twitter page, the Facebook, and the YouTube, and we'll see you guys then. Thanks for joining us, and thank you to that random guy for joining me.
Hey, no problem, man.
All right, catch you next time.
See you later.